Creating the perfect man's wardrobe isn't about following a prescribed list of items. It's about having a method in place that guides you through creating a sense of personal style. To help you navigate this, I've created 10 commandments or rules, or I've created 10 guidelines. These have evolved as I've built up my wardrobe, and I wish I had them when I started. It would have saved me a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of that time looking like a bit of a prat. So to start things off, number one, have a clear, honest, coherent view of your lifestyle and your needs. This will guide you as you look for specific garments. Then you're going to want to make sure that you know your measurements, and you should buy clothes that fit properly. Ill-fitting clothes can ruin an otherwise great outfit. Then invest in timeless pieces that are considered the archetypes of menswear, things that are just never ever going to go out of style. And match these with versatile basics such as a well-fitting t-shirt, classic styles of shirts, maybe some neutral socks, and, well, of course, underwear. Stick to the neutral colours such as black, white, grey, navy, beige. These are all, they're easy to match and they're easy to create a cohesive look. Then you're going to want to pick one really good piece of outerwear, something that applies rules, let's see, rules 1, 2, 3, and 5. Be prepared to put down some serious money on this. Okay, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'll say it till to the end of my days. Quality over quantity every time. Invest in high quality pieces that are well made and will last a good long time. Do this instead of buying a lot of cheap trend focused items that will either fall apart quickly or be off trend in a few months, or you know what, probably both. Be very wary of statement pieces. There's a good bet that that colourful sweater or the patterned shirt or that unique accessory you picked up in Thailand will undo all of your hard work up until now. But add in a few classic accessories such as a good watch, pair of glasses or sunglasses, a great wallet, and yeah, maybe some jewellery. And the last thing you're going to want to do is educate and keep educating. Nowadays, it's easier than ever before to gain the inspiration and the knowledge you need to put together a great wardrobe. But at the same time, it's never been more difficult. There are just so many incredible resources out there in terms of men's style. So books, magazines, blogs, Pinterest, of course, Instagram. These days, there's just so much to pull on that can be a bit overwhelming. But if you apply these rules, then you can't go too far off course. The beauty of these rules is that they are independent of any particular style or any aspect or any aesthetic of menswear. So if you hate my style, which you might, you can apply them to your life, your needs, and your style. And I know I just said this, but it is essential. The key to building up a great wardrobe is choosing pieces that are versatile, that are timeless, and that are well made, rather than simply following a list of specific items or following a trend. But having said that, just an example, here's how I would do it. If my house burned down tomorrow and I had to start from scratch, here's how I'd apply these rules. To begin with, I'd think about my personal use case to determine the necessities. So where I live, my lifestyle, what I want from my clothing, what I need from my clothing, and then anything else that's just specific to me. So me, Matthew Wilson, I live in Berlin, Germany. That brings it with it 4 distinct seasons, all with rather schizophrenic weather. It's a big cosmopolitan city with all that brings. I'm in my 40s, I have a kid. I don't have a job that requires any dress code. However, I do work in an industry that requires a certain sense of being well dressed. So I need my clothing to be versatile within all of these aspects of work, weather, offspring, and so on. Of course, your choices will be different. But as I said, if you apply these 10 commandments, you'll have a foundations of a very respectable wardrobe. Right, that's the basic information. That's the foundation we're going to build upon. The next step is going to be looking at my color palette. And along with this, I think I'm going to add in some military green. And now we can start looking into the specific garments. To kick things off, of course, you know I'm going to start with a pair of blue jeans. I mean, let's just go through the checklist. They are a neutral color, definitely. Blue, that fits. They're classic. Yes, there isn't much more classic than a good pair of blue jeans. And they are versatile, definitely. If they're a dark wash, or even better, unwashed. There's no fake distressing rips or tears, there's no weird or wacky fits, and there's no ostentatious branded motifs. And is it good quality? Well, I mean, I used to say that you need to spend $150, euros, whatever, upwards if you wanted a good pair of jeans. But as I found out in my video on the Uniqlo selvage denim, you can get a very good pair of jeans for not too much money. And this is where a shameless plug comes in. If you go down to the link in the description for the CRD sales page, yeah, whatever you find there in terms of jeans will be a good investment. In fact, anything you're going to find there is going to be a good investment. That's why I put the page together. So along with the pants, along with the jeans, I'll have a pair of chinos. I'm tempted to go with khaki or black. Okay, I'm going to have a pair of chinos as well as a pair of worker pants, something European, something French, in fact, something from Vetra. I'm going to have the chinos in a khaki and I'm going to have the worker pants in a black. That should cover most of my bases. Next up, a jacket, or actually jackets. I would have one leather jacket in black and I'd have a denim jacket with a mid-wash. For the leather jacket, I go for a classic highwayman style. That's sort of a 1930s sportswear style, but of course made more contemporary. So longer in the body, less boxy, in a mid-weight leather. You don't want this thing to be flimsy, definitely not, but you do want to be able to move. For the denim jacket, I'd go for the wash for two reasons. First one is it makes the denim a bit softer and more wearable than a raw denim jacket. And if you want to wear it with your darker denim jeans, then a bit of contrast really, it helps out a lot. Style wise, I'd opt for the Type 3. For me personally, it's the best all-rounder and there's so many good options readily available. So that's my archetypes covered mostly. So I think we're gonna move on to versatile basics, and we're gonna start with t-shirts. So you could go black, white, navy, maybe even a grey marl. Those would all do. Personally, I'm gonna go for a white, and I'm gonna get a classic fit, nothing overly slim, nothing overly boxy, nothing with a logo or a motif. Maybe a pocket, I think that's acceptable. In fact, if it's a white t-shirt, maybe it's even preferable. Then a shirt, or actually shirts. Remember, this isn't a list of stuff to get, this is what I would get. First up, I would get a chambray shirt, possibly a button down, but actually it doesn't have to be. It fits with the color palette, it's a classic, and it's versatile. Then I'd have an overshirt, something a little bit heavier. I would be maybe tempted to go with a flannel, but I think I'm going to go with something in a sateen fabric. I love the way it wears, and this is where I'm going to bring in that little bit of military green. Then, of course, essentially underwear, boxers for me every time, but yeah, you do you for yours. Socks, I can only recommend Bamboo every single time. I'd have 7 sneaker socks, 7 mid-lengths, and 4 knee-high socks. Right, next, sweatshirts. Sweatshirts actually could be seen in the archetype category, but I also see them as a basic as well. But anyway, I've been trying to wean myself off my hoodie addiction, my reliance on hoodies. So if they are all ash, then I'm going to go cold turkey and opt for a crewneck sweater. In fact, I would probably reinvest in the Benzac ones that I have. But then I'll also want a woolen sweater for the winter. Again, I would reinvest in the Anderson Sailor crewneck. It is hands down the best woolen sweater I have ever worn. If my hypothetical house had not hypothetically burned down, then this wood will last me for decades. Up next, I'm going to move on to an overcoat. And honestly, this is a bit of an indulgence. In terms of outerwear, I would be totally fine with the denim jacket and the leather jacket. But having said that, I do love what an overcoat brings to an outfit. It's an extra layer to play with when you're layering, which is the most practical way to deal with the schizophrenic Berlin weather. It smartens up any outfit, definitely. It's entirely versatile, entirely practical, and if anything might be considered a statement piece, it would be this. I am gravitating towards something like a grey herringbone, a simple style like a Balmacan maybe. Basically, I want anything that does not in any way make me look like a Peaky Blinder. Next up, shoes. And yeah, this isn't such a simple one. But if I break it down using the rules, it would be a pair of Chelsea boots and a pair of canvas trainers. The Chelsea boots simply because, as a relatively new father, the fewer steps that I need to take before leaving the house, the better. Laces are just a luxury that I do not need. And to the canvas trainers, there's nothing more classic and more versatile than a pair of canvas kicks. If Novesta, my canvas kick brand of choice, if they did a pair of slip-ons like the Vans do, that's what I'd opt for, but they don't, so a pair of the low top lace-ups will do just fine. Accessories, of course, first and foremost, my wedding ring has to be. Then I'd have a hat and scarf, it's just a necessity here. I'd avoid that advice that people give that this is where you can introduce some colour. I keep it simple, keep it clean. The hat would be a watch cap, wool, Scarf would be not overly long, also in wool, but some kind of super soft wool, like a merino, an alpaca, something like that. Then a watch, mechanical movement, automatic, and never, ever, ever a Rolex. Glasses, for me, another necessity. The shape is more important than the material, I find. I find the square shape suits my big bald. Then to sunglasses, also kind of a necessity. I have a problem with glare and bright sunlight. I think it's something to do with being Scottish and the fact that the sun just never shines there. Here, I like the classics, so the Ray-Ban Wayfarers in particular, and maybe the Persol 649s, they are also perfect. The gun to my head, I would probably pick the Ray-Bans. And there we go, through each of the specific pieces, I use the commandments as a guideline, and I think I have arrived at what would be a pretty perfect wardrobe for me, or at least the basics of a pretty perfect wardrobe. It's versatile, it is classic, and it's in alignment with my needs and my lifestyle. Now, I've not included any info on the specific pieces. Okay, I've mentioned brand names here and there, but nothing really too specific, because I think if I did that, the video would be about 1,000 years long. But what I have done is I put together a list you'll find below. And yeah, if you do really want to get into the weeds of my first pick, the blue jeans, then you can check this video out right here.